Well, Neil, I think I probably don't need to tell you that wasn't good enough, was it, today?
Far from it, two average sides I thought on the day. 0-0 probably the fair results. But that's not good enough for us. We should be much better than that, and performance is not acceptable. We've tried moving people about, we've playing. I thought Jon, when he came on, probably our most creative player, got 3 or 4 shots off. But we always fall to a sucker punch, don't we? It's about the 6th or 7th time we conceded the goal. Obviously we want to be winning the game, but if you don't win the game, you need to take something from it. No disrespect to Telford, but the bottom of the league, and obviously they're fighting to stay in the division, but we've got to be bigger and stronger than that, and I don't know what it is. Our home performances are absolutely dire.
For half an hour it looked like Telford were there for the taking. They looked devoid of confidence themselves, and I thought we only need to step it up maybe 10% and we'd be there. What went wrong? Why didn't it happen for you?
I don't know. We look at training, it's fantastic, but just for some reason, once we get out on our football pitch, people clam up, and maybe we're just not good enough, but you would expect with the players that we've got at the club and at our disposal, you expect that not to be the case, but that performance is not acceptable. It's, we've got to be bigger and stronger than that, and we've got to go and try and win games of football, but that was really bad.
I know you're hurting at the moment, but I suppose you've got to think about what you do to change things, and how do you change it? What are the solutions? I know it's difficult in the heat of after the game to come up with those solutions, but where do you start?
As you say, John, it is difficult, because it's not just today, is it? It's solutions that I've been trying to. If you can see, we've been trying over a number of weeks in terms of formation, players. Yeah. I do think the players have an issue, with confidence, but so do most players, in terms of where we're currently at the moment. I don't know, you would majority of the same lads that got off to a good start at the start of the season, but we're not doing anything different in terms of, preparation is very good, training's very good, but performances in the main and results in the main probably now for 8 weeks, 10 weeks has just not been anywhere near the expected levels. Players, I don't know if it's just me, but some players look tired, and it's not about fitness, because the fitness levels are very high, but they just look tired, and confidence is a big issue, but I can't keep saying that. At the end of the day, that we're all men, and we've got to stand up and be counted, but at the end of the day, mate, that performance is nowhere near where we should be, and I've got to look at everything now, because I look at we should have beat Stalybridge, yeah, we should have. We conceded a late goal. We conceded a late goal here again today, and performances, for the club of this stature is not good enough.
It's ironic, really, isn't it? You've come under some criticism for making too many changes in recent weeks, but you must be itching now to make changes again, surely, after a performance like that.
John, but you can't keep throwing players at it, can you? If you go through the squad of players, you're not telling me they're not good enough to compete in this division. I've analysed myself to death. I've analysed the staff to death and what we're doing, our methods. But the results just aren't coming. But it's not just the results aren't coming, because it's performances aren't coming. You're getting one good one, one bad one, one average one bad one, one good one. And the good ones are being far outweighed by the average and the poor. And that's not a very good recipe. And when we came into the football club, we had a clear idea which way we wanted to go, and what we were trying to do. For whatever people may think, worked very, very hard at it, and I've done and I've continued to up until now, and will continue to. But for whatever reason, it's not happening on the pitch, and I just said to the staff in there, we talk about the players, we talk about ourselves. We've got to analyse and look even more deeper into ourselves, and what are we doing? Are we missing something? But as you say, after the end of the game, it's about keeping what you're going to say to yourself at the moment, and then coming away and thinking about it in an environment where you're not as emotionally drained or down as what I am currently am.
Are the players feeling like you, do you think?
I think the play. There's only so many sucker punches you can take, isn't it? In terms of, we lost a goal last week, last minute. This week was 0-0, not good enough, but 0-0. We conceded another goal. I haven't seen it, but Ian tells me it's not a penalty. But irrespective, we conceded another goal in the last 3 or 4 minutes of a game. Where, to be fair, Telford second half, I know we've only had probably 3 or 4 shots, but they haven't had any. I don't think. It's about a few free kicks over the bar. Give far too many of them away. But as I said to the players in there, one thing I'll give myself and my staff is we work very, very hard. And can they say the same thing? Can they say the same thing? But I'm well aware of the what should we say, the rules of football. It's usually the manager that takes the stick, and that rightly so. But I think the players, got to take some responsibility. I'll hold my hand up and I'll stand there, as I've said all the time, at respective results. But at some time, with if I didn't have good players, I'd say okay, yeah, fine. They're trying the best. But you have to look at the squad of players we've got and the players that are going out there. Now that's not just all down to lack of confidence, or certainly not down to lack of ability. But as I say, I've got to assess everything and look at it.
The fans obviously was a response at the end of the game. Are you strong enough to ride this out? Are you the right man still, do you feel, to take this club forward?
I'm strong enough to ride it out, John. We've got to remember, we're a part-time football club, and I know history weighs heavy on me, you know what I mean? And rightly so, because of the size of the football club. We brought a lot of good players in name to the football club, and I still believe they are good players. Fans aren't happy, and I expect that. Getting beat at home by bottom of the league, however you look at it, however you dress it up, shouldn't be happening. You know what I mean? And it can happen, but it can happen with a good performance, and you get beat 1-0, and you go away and you think, how'd you lose? But that was a 0-0 game, and that we shouldn't be involved in that. So I can understand the fans' frustrations. Am I still the man to take the club forward? I believe I am. But at this moment in time, I can't justify that with the results that have come in recent weeks. All I can do as the manager of the football club is keep working as hard as I do. But I'll be honest, and I'll go back to my first point, it's part-time football. I've got a job and a family, and at this moment in time, I'm virtually, living at Stockport County. I don't mean in the place itself, but, in terms of trying to turn this around, trying to get the results going the right way, doing whatever I can in terms of bringing players in. We'll be analysing, we'll be watching games. Dan knows how many times I'm requesting matches off him and certain things to try and do it. But sometimes things don't happen, do they? We can, there's better managers than me gone in places, and it hasn't happened for whatever reason. But at this moment in time, it's about just keeping your head down and keep working and assessing, during the week.
And one of the things you're conscious of is trying to reduce the number of loan players, and you brought in a couple of permanent signings this week, and both played today, Jamie Menner and John Marsden. How do you feel they both did today? Jamie
was on the edge a little bit. I thought he was quite nervous. I thought he got into it a bit more second half. Played some decent balls. Jamie's a good player, but again, it's difficult being a good player coming into a side that's struggling. Thought John Marsden, when he came on, was a little bit different for us and gave us a little bit of energy. As I say, probably got 4 shots off the D3, 4 shots off, and created a little bit for us, got in them little holes that we asked him to get into. I thought second half, although not great, was better than the first half. But for whatever reason, I don't know if you feel the same. I'm sure the supporters do. You'd always think there's going to be an issue at some stage. They're going to create an opportunity, and usually it's going to end up in the back of the net.
And the worry is that maybe the players are thinking that as well.
It's John, yeah, but you've got to try and do everything you can to eliminate that, haven't you? And it doesn't help when the ball's going, out wide of the goal, and Ian's come out and he says he took the ball first. I've not seen it, but there's just, in my opinion, no need to be out there. But Ian's had a good game, you know what I mean? Yeah. Solid, his kicking's been good. He's made a good save first half, so you can't point the finger, because how's it got there? It's a bad header inside. We haven't tracked our runner, but that's. When you want to get a result out of the game, you've got to do them horrible little bits. You've got to chase men down. You've got to close the door to them. But we're not doing it for whatever reason. And as I said before, very, very frustrating. And I fully understand, the the fans' frustration. He was getting beat at home by bottom of the league. However you dress it up, however you look at it, it's not acceptable.
A big week for you now, and of course a tough game to come against a side at the total other end of the league.
Yeah, Nuneaton who have had a good start to the season, or a good season so far. Go to Congleton midweek if it's on. But yeah, you've got to dust yourself down, haven't you, and try and go again, you know, and try and be as positive as you can. Obviously, I'll speak to the directors and see where they want to go, what they want to do. But the main thing is, I'm a positive person. You know, I've got to be positive. with the run of results, if I wasn't positive, I don't think I'd bother turning up. But you know, I've just said, you know, as a person, there's only so much should take as a person. You know what I mean? And I've as I say, put a lot of time into the football club. Have done since I've been here. Sometimes, as I say, things don't happen the way you envisage them and you would like them to. But you know, as I said before, I keep my cards close to my chest and keep working hard. And I don't want anything more than to do well for the football club and with the supporters. You know, that's you know, all I want to do here. But I fully understand people's frustrations.
Is it fair to say it's something you're not really used to as a manager? This is it. It
isn't. It isn't. I had a spell at the end. Obviously, at the end of when I was at Chester in the conference, it's not. The bit frustrating for me. If I didn't think we had the players or the squad of players to do better, I'm not saying win every game, then you can go. Yeah, you can handle that a little bit. But you know, we've brought in a lot of players, and you know, we've on paper. And in performances in games, in certain games, they've shown what they're capable of. The frustrating thing is that we don't get that week in, week out. You know, for every Stalybridge performance, there's probably 3 Telford performances. If you know where I'm coming from. And you know, as I said before, when you, as a manager, when you don't know what you're getting, it becomes difficult to how you're going to set up. Because you look today, apart from obviously we've had to change the goalkeeper, but apart from Jamie coming in to try and give us a bit more going the other way, Charlie's done really well, don't get me wrong, and Paul coming back in, who's experienced, it's been the same lads, you know, but certain players, you know, however we look at it, to say, you know, let me down, you know, and dress it up however he wants. I'm responsible at the end of the day, and I'll always hold my hand up and stand there, but certain players have let me down, not just now, not today, but throughout the season, you know. And if I'm here or I'm not here, you know, and they're still here, they've got to, you know, carry that they've got to go and do better for this football club, irrespective of who the manager is.
Thanks for your honesty. Thank you.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.